Let's be real, navigating health insurance in New York can feel, well, overwhelming. But you don't have to figure it all out by yourself. So let's dive right in and break down what you need to know about the Affordable Care Act and New York-specific rules for long-term care.
Bronze, silver, gold, deductible, actuarial value. Does any of this sound familiar? If you're feeling kind of lost in a sea of insurance jargon, believe me, you are not alone. We are about to clear up all this confusion and show you what it all means for your health and your wallet.
Think of this explainer as your personal roadmap. Together, we're going to build a clear guide to the world of New York health insurance, giving you the tools you need to make choices with confidence.
All right, first things first, let's talk about the metal tiers. This is probably the first big choice you'll have to make, and it has a direct impact on how much you pay each month versus how much you pay when you actually go to the doctor.
So you've got 4 main flavors: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. It's a pretty straightforward trade-off. A higher tier, like gold or platinum, means you'll pay more each month, but the plan picks up a bigger chunk of the bill when you need care. The key difference here is a little something called actuarial value.
So what on earth is actuarial value? Honestly, it's simpler than it sounds. It's just the percentage of total medical costs that your plan covers, on average for a typical group of people. So for a gold plan with 80% actuarial value, it means the plan pays about $80 of every $100 in costs, and you pay the other $20. It's really that simple. Now, here's the really good news. No matter which metal tier you choose, bronze, silver, whatever, you are guaranteed to get a core set of benefits. You can think of it like a standard health toolkit that comes with every single plan on the exchange. And here they are, the 10 essential health benefits. This covers a huge range of services, everything from ER visits and hospital stays to maternity care, mental health services, and prescriptions. This means your plan is there for you, not just for the routine stuff, but for the big, unexpected things too.
Okay, so beyond the services that are covered, the ACA also baked in some incredibly important protections for you, the consumer. Let's talk about some of the biggest ones, because these were absolute game changers. This one is a huge deal. Before the ACA, insurance companies could literally put a dollar limit on how much they would pay for your care over your entire life. If you got really sick, you could run out of insurance. The ACA said, nope, not anymore, at least not for those essential benefits. You're protected no matter how high your medical bills climb. And it wasn't just lifetime limits. The ACA also got rid of annual dollar limits on essential benefits. This is a game changer for anyone with a chronic condition or facing a major illness. It just gives you this incredible peace of mind, knowing your coverage won't just disappear when you need it the most.
26. This number is such a lifeline for young adults and their families. Thanks to the ACA, young people can stay on their parents' health insurance plan all the way up until their 26th birthday. It's a crucial safety net as they're getting started in their careers.
You ever wonder where your premium dollars actually go? Well, the medical loss ratio, or MLR, is a rule designed to keep insurance companies honest about that. It basically requires them to spend a big chunk of the money you pay them on actual medical care, not on things like marketing or executive salaries. It's all about making sure you get good value. So, for example, if a plan has a 70% MLR, it means that for every dollar you pay in premiums, at least 70 cents has to go toward your health care and improving quality. The other 30 cents can go to running the business. This rule really makes sure your money is working to keep you healthy. For those of you who use a flexible savings account or an FSA, to pay for medical costs with pre-tax money, the ACA set a maximum annual contribution limit for individuals at $2,500. The ACA also has a rule for big companies. It requires large employers to offer affordable health insurance. And if they don't, they could face a penalty of $2,000 per full-time employee. It's a really powerful incentive to make sure more working Americans get covered.
Okay, just a quick heads up on this. If your health plan is really old, from before March 23, 2010, it might be grandfathered. That means it doesn't have to follow all of these new ACA rules we've been talking about. It's just an important exception to be aware of. All right, we've covered the ACA's protections for your health needs right now. So let's shift gears and talk about planning for the future. I'm talking about long-term care. And here in New York, there are some specific state-level rules you absolutely need to know. When you're shopping for a long-term care policy in New York, it is so important to understand what's covered and what's not. For example, policies have to cover things like Alzheimer's, but they're allowed to exclude things like acts of war or self-inflicted injuries. You really have to read the fine print to know what you're buying.
New York law also gives you some really important options. Insurers have to offer you inflation protection, so your benefits can keep up with rising healthcare costs. They also have to offer a non-forfeiture option, which is basically a safety net so you don't lose everything if you stop paying premiums. And crucially, your policy has to be guaranteed renewable.
Now, this might be one of the most powerful consumer protections out there. In New York, you get a 30-day free look period for long-term care policies. That gives you a full month to pore over the documents, check all the terms, and make sure it's the right fit. And if you change your mind, you can send it back for a full refund, no questions asked. You know, New York actually requires this exact sentence to appear on every single long-term care policy. It's a pretty stark reminder, isn't it? It's the state's way of saying, hey, pay attention. This is a tool, but it might not be the whole solution. It really drives home how important it is to understand exactly what your policy does and doesn't cover. So from picking between a bronze or a gold plan to digging into the details of a long-term care policy, it all comes down to one thing, right? Knowledge. Understanding these rules and what they mean is the absolute foundation for making smart, empowered choices for your future.
We've laid out the map for you. We've decoded some of the jargon. So the question now is, what are you going to do with it? What's the next step you need to take on your own healthcare journey to make sure you've got the right coverage for you and your family?